Today's May the 29th, 2012. We're sitting with Mark Traina. Mr. Traina, I understand that you have been receiving a lot of hate mail. Is this true?
Quite the contrary. As a matter of fact, nothing could be further from the truth. There are people that are calling me from all over America. People who are afraid to leave their homes at night. People who are afraid to let their children play in front of their homes, even during the daytime. So many people have called me to tell me that they are afraid to send their kids off to school. They walk their kids to school every day and go and pick them up in the afternoon. They say that the neighborhoods have become so violent and corrupt that they fear for their children's lives.
I also understand that recently you have been unable to access your NOLA.com account. Is this also true? Very interestingly, people can go on NOLA.com, something that I've been involved with for a very long time, and I've been blogging. They can go online and they can talk about me and say horrible things about me, but NOLA has shut my account down, and I've tried to register with NOLA.com using another name. However, that's been a problem because suddenly they're not allowing any new members. That's really weird that after I had been on TV and also on the radio asking people to go to NOLA.com to actually read my blogs. Many people have read my tweets. Of course, they don't know what I was referring to in my tweets. I was talking about drive-bys in certain areas of the city where 2- and 3-year-old children were being caught in the crossfire. At least one of them killed recently in the last month. Also, I was writing about an incident where a young man in the city of New Orleans was holding a baby in his hands in front of his house during the middle of the day, and a fellow walked up to him and shot him point blank range, and he fell to the ground holding an infant. So I do apologize for my harsh tweeter comments, but the stories that I'm reading about in the newspaper and online are so horrific that they brought out a very harsh, very harsh response from me. But also I want to let the good people of New Orleans know that I'm reaching out to to ministers and churches in the greater New Orleans area, offering my apologies to them and their congregations, and also asking that we, instead of bash one another, that we get together, work together to try to solve the very serious crime problem plaguing the United States of America, not just New Orleans. I want to say this as well. In the United States, last year, 2011, 18,000 Americans were murdered. 18,000. And I want people to know all over this country that 15,000 of the people murdered in the United States in 2011 were young black males. And maybe the rest of white America doesn't care. Because, the general attitude is, as long as you keep it over there and it doesn't show up at my house, it don't matter. Well, I want black people all over the country, and people of any color, any creed or any race, to know that killing is not acceptable. It's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to my family and friends, and it's not acceptable to the world. We as the United States need to set a better example for other nations around the world. Do you have any other questions? You said that you had a Twitter account on Twitter.com and that you also have been denied access to that. Is that true?
That's another interesting subject, because Twitter has also denied me access to my own account. I find it a little strange that people from all over the world can tweet things about Mark Traina, and I can't even respond to them because my Twitter account has been closed down. This is not good, and it's not fair. We call this censorship. This is the sort of stuff that happens in a dictatorship
or in a socialist country where people are not allowed to speak out. And I got to tell you something. If we don't change the track that we're on right now, and we don't stop borrowing money from China, we're all going to be eating with chopsticks pretty soon, and we're all going to be speaking Chinese. This is America. We need to stop doing what we're doing and be Americans. Did you guys hear about General Motors selling out to a company in China? General Motors. I'm talking about Chevrolet. I'm talking about Cadillac. These guys are going to be making cars in China. Nothing against the Chinese. They do good work. As a matter of fact, I drive a Kia and I love it, a Sorento. But I would much rather buy a car made here in America if the quality was there. So we need to be careful about censorship. We need to be proud Americans. And we need to not be afraid to stand up for what's right. People say, Mark, you've had a lot of death threats. No, I have not. I have had no death threats. Because people in America know that maybe my wording was wrong, but they know that what I said was absolutely correct. And I promise, as a fellow American, to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I was a school psychologist for 30 years. I've worked in inner city schools for the past 30 years. And I want people to know that I know what's going on in those schools. And if a child's misbehaving, I'm going to identify that. But I'm also willing to work with those families and their churches and organizations. If you go to NOLA, NOLA.com, and go to the Education Forum, you can read about Mark Traina. Don't forget about the tweets. They're out there. I'll address those later. Go out there and read NOLA.com, Education Forum, and read my articles under Fatuous One or Mark Traina or both. You'll notice that I'm proud to say what I had to say, and I put my name, my phone number, everything's there, and my email address. So when you speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I have nothing to fear but the Lord above. Do you have any other questions, young lady?
So, Mr. Traina, what's your message that you want to get out to America today?
Well, let me say this. It seems as though socialism and various forms of communism are alive and well in America today. And I know that lots of people speak about this. But I want to tell you something. I'm being censored. I'm being censored on NOLA.com. As a matter of fact, I tried to sign up as a new member. They know that I was going to sign up and start blogging again, letting people know that what I said was the truth. But they blocked me. And absolutely, they blocked you too. They're not taking any new members. Isn't that interesting? NOLA.com, the New Orleans Times-Picayune that has bashed me all over the world, is not allowing any new members to join their forum. That's censorship. That's socialism. That's a form of communism. So I ask my fellow Americans, I'm not backing down. I'm not backing down from the truth. I love every American. I love our soldiers in Afghanistan. I love every member who died on 9/11. When those planes hit those buildings on 9/11, I didn't say, oh my God, I hope there weren't any white people in there. I said, oh my God, all these Americans, all these wonderful Americans are gonna lose their lives. And even more sadly, their family members were gonna suffer their loss forever. I cried for 3 days on 9/11. It was one of the saddest events of my life. And I was old at the time, but all I wanted to do was serve my country. And that's all I'm doing here, because I truly care. And I do not like the direction that this country is heading in. So I'm sort of like a well-educated Joe the Plumber type guy. I read everything. I read the New York Times. I read the Wall Street Journal. I read the Times-Picayune. I read constantly. And I'm reading about innocent lives being taken in America. Terrorism is not in Afghanistan or Iraq or Iran. It's right here in this country. Again, I say, 18,000 Americans lost their lives in 2011. So we need to pull this stuff together, and we need to start working together and stop bashing each other and do something about crime in America. People can say that I'm a radical. I'm not a radical. I'm a realist. I keep telling everybody I am a realist, and I'm willing to stand up for what I think is right and address the real issues facing America today. God bless you, and good day.